So I was born in Cuba. My parents were supporters of the Castro Revolution until it became a non-democracy. Then they were harassed by the government, and we decided to leave the country. We arrived here when I was 13 years old. I come from a blue-collar family. My parents they were factory workers. I grew up in a pretty rough neighborhood. Struggled with English, actually dropped out of school. Was able to get my high school diploma and college degree much later, but went in the Army. After the Army, I went into the LAPD. I was with the LAPD started from the bottom, went all the way to the number 2 spot. 2006, I was offered the opportunity to become the chief of police of Mesa, which is the 3rd largest city in Arizona. When I went to Mesa, I encountered a really toxic anti-immigrant environment. Started to deal with people that were blaming immigrants for almost anything that went wrong. I was able to show that immigrants were no more responsible for crime than many other groups. And during that time, actually lowered crime in a period of 3 years by 30%, at the same time that other neighboring jurisdictions that were being policed by the Sheriff Arpaio, their crime was going up. So I was raised in a very poor neighborhood in Southeast L.A. Most of it was a blue-collar neighborhood. A lot of the kids there were having problems. I saw firsthand the impact of not only poverty, but social and economic issues impacting the quality of life throughout the neighborhood. A lot of the kids that I went to school with did not do very well. And that it was an area that always resonated with me. So when I became a police officer, one of the things that I wanted to ensure is that I work in neighborhoods that were very similar to the neighborhoods that I was raised, because I have a great deal of sensitivity for what young people in those neighborhoods go through. Also, my own immigrant experience played a major part. I know how difficult it is to come from another country, not to understand the language, the impact on the parents that are trying to get employment, be able to support a home, and the kids having problems and struggling in the school. So a lot of that was certainly very impactful in the way that I was raised, and certainly impacted the way that I approach policing and that I approach my life in general. At the same time, coming from Cuba and having dealt with a totalitarian government and know what it's like to have a government that is controlled by police, and understanding the importance that the police can play a role to support a community, but the police should not be the central piece of a society. That also played a tremendous role for me. Well, number one is to continue the reduction of violent crime. I think that's critical. It is difficult to have a livable society where you have extreme violence, so that's one. The other one is to improve the quality of our education and lowering truancy. I think that if we're serious about reducing crime over long periods of time, we got to keep our kids in school. And thirdly is the reduction in incarceration rates. I think that we have to lower our incarceration rates. We have to become more rehabilitative as opposed to punitive in the way that we handle our system. I think that the reason that I would tell them is to look at what we have been doing in the office and the impact that we're having in the system by lowering violent crime, as well as being able to reduce incarceration rates. And again, if you look at the way that the office is being run today, you would vote for me.
I'm voting for you. I'm not going to vote.